eyes were on the judiciary. It was the judiciary that was on trial. We have seen the certified true copy of that judgment, and clearly on the top of it, the header. I don't know why they made that mistake. The judgment, as it were, assumedly proceeded from the APC presidential legal team. And you could see when the judges were reading it, they were not reading a judgment that was indigenous to them. They were not reading a judgment that they could own. They were, if you're reading your speech, you make very little mistakes. But when you're reading a prepared speech, a written speech, of course you could see it. Everybody who watched that, the longest, if you like, the longest judgment we've seen in our historicity, would understand that it was clearly about the puppet and the puppeteer. But I believe that what we're doing, this forensic, is actually interested in putting our democracy right, because congruent with democratic process is the transparency and the credibility of the electoral process.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election, which was held on February 25, 2023, and the result controversially announced on March 1st, 2023, in which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared the winner of the election, and he was sworn in on May 29, 2023. And those aggrieved about the result of that election took the matter to the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, which delivered its judgment on September 6th, 2023. And that delivery, that judgment, has become subject of controversy, subject of discussion, and the most recent being the allegation about who wrote the judgment of that tribunal, who wrote it. Because this question came to the fore because Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, had alleged or insinuated that the presidential legal team of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was instrumental in the authorship of that report. And the person you saw, the video you just watched, was also one of the top men or top speakers for Labour Party, and a very strong advocate and spokesperson of Peter Obi when he was during the campaign period. So he is a Labour Party chieftain, and he is also a very obedient Nigerian. You know, in Nigeria, when you talk about obedient is the sobriquet that they use in describing those who support the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. Now, but the issue at stake, the one that we're going to talk about right now, is the allegation by Atiku Abubakar about the authorship of the judgment. And as you all know, Nigerians watched on Wednesday, September 6th, on live television as the justices. Now let us also take note of this. At the beginning of the proceedings of this Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, they refused to air the proceeding live for Nigeria so that they can follow. There was an application by Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar that this thing be televised live so that Nigerians can follow, for transparency, for openness, for accountability. This same Presidential Election Petition Tribunal refused. But without being asked, he now said that in the delivery that they are going to broadcast the thing live. Nobody demanded for that, and when they did it, their excuse was that for transparency and openness. And you now ask yourself, what does the difference? What difference does this transparency and openness in the last day of judgment? What's different does it make with the time people wanted it at the beginning, so that people can be able to see some of the things they were reading out that day about the witnesses and all that? Nigerians would have witnessed the witnesses when they were delivering their positions. But that is by the way. It's just to show you the reasons why there's a lot of concern about the whole process in terms of if you want to be transparent, you have to be transparent from the beginning and not from the end. That is the truth of the matter. If you want to be transparent, start from the beginning of the process till the end of the process, and not for you to come at the end of the process to come and tell Nigerians that you are being transparent. That is almost like hoodwinking the world to believe that you are being transparent at the last day, whereas on the first day when you are expected to be transparent, so that Nigerians could follow and be able to be the best judge of the outcome. No, but as I said, that's by the way. Now, Nigerians watched as the justices of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal read their various judgments for over, or some people say about 13 hours. Now, even though Nigerians, for whatever reason, did not see the justices, they did not see the faces of the justices, but only heard their voices, it is unthinkable to even suspect that the voices are not the originators of the written judgments. So, in this channel, let us believe that the justices are innocent until proven guilty. So the justices wrote their judgment. Okay? Because by our law system, somebody is innocent. So I will assume, and we are assuming that they are innocent until proven guilty. So here we are saying it was the justices that wrote their reports. But let us see the allegation that that the uh, the People's Democratic Party and Atiku Abubakar, they are alleging. Now, as I said, it is unthinkable to even suspect that the voices are not the originators of this document. But that is the allegation that the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, is making, and it is a weighty allegation coming from him. Also recall that weeks before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal delivered its judgment, a certain Jackson Ude had alleged that a former minister in the erstwhile administration of Muhammad Buhari had been scarce in public because he was allegedly writing the judgment for the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Of course, that did not go down well with the ex-minister, who reported the matter to the police, and some arrests had been made against the online newspaper that published it. The last we heard of it was that the matter, we last heard of that particular matter was that a brother of the publisher of that particular story was arrested, and because the main alleged culprit, the publisher, had disappeared into thin air. The police couldn't reach him. Okay, and now this is even as the originator of that particular story, Jackson Ude, apparently appears unreachable. Because it's believed that he is living outside Nigeria. Okay, it's believed that he is living outside Nigeria. So that is that about that particular matter. But let us continue with uh, what the PDP are alleging through their lawyer, through their spokesperson, or the spokesperson of Atiku Abubakar. Because the camp of the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, has demanded explanation from the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal on why certified true copies, or CTC, of its judgment bears the header of the Bola Tinubu presidential legal team. According to the report, there had been insinuation that the tribunal ruling was allegedly compromised in favor of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu due to Tinubu presidential legal team watermarks that was found on the copies in circulation on social media. However, the coordinator of the Tinubu presidential legal team, Babatunde Ogala, senior advocate of Nigeria, in a statement on Saturday, debunked such insinuation. According to him, the judgment was not compromised, and the watermarks were only applied by the team after they got their own copies of the consolidated judgment from the Court of Appeal. Ogala explained further that the lawyers for the PDP were present at the registry when they picked up the clean copies of the tribunal ruling, adding that the PDP lawyers were even the first to pick copies of the judgment from the registrar. Now, this is the lawyers of the coordinator of President Tinubu legal team, Ogala, senior advocate of Nigeria. He was claiming, he's saying it was not true what the PDP is alleging. They claim that even PDP picked the judgment copies before them. But that is not what the PDP said. As PDP disagreed on that they were the first to pick. But we'll get to that. But let us see the defense of Tinubu's legal team, how they are dissociating themselves from any claim of having written or having been favored in the judgment. However, in a statement by the Special Assistant Communication to Atiku Abubakar, Frank Shaibu, he stated that it was very important that the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal should tell Nigerians why they chose to affix the header of the respondents on the certified true copies of their judgment, whereas the copies that went to the petitioners did not have same mark. Okay? Now, quoting Frank Shaibu, who speaks on behalf of Atiku Abubakar, he said, "Was that because the Tinubu legal team is deemed to be accorded special privileges? The court must explain," he said. The court must explain, he said. He also questioned why the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal came to the decision to avail the respondents, the Tinubu legal team, to have the first copy of the CTC of the judgment before the plaintiffs. Okay, that you can see that they are contradicting what the Tinubu legal team said. His statement reads, "This, curiously, is more confounding based on the fact that the lead counsel to Atiku and the People's Democratic Party had pleaded in the open court to have express receipt of the judgment, to which Justice Haruna Samani agreed and promised to make the document available the following day, which was Thursday. Nigerians want to know why the Presidential Election Petition Court confers special privilege to the Tinubu legal team by making them have a first custody of copies of the Presidential Election Petition Judgment, even though it was more urgent for the petitioners who needed the document in order to cause an appeal to the Supreme Court, written 14 days, including weekends. In the course of delivering its judgment, the Presidential Election Petition Court had spoken of the petition it was reading upon in a very vexatious and denigrating language, as if it was a crime to bring a case of electoral banditry before the court. However, unfolding developments after the court's ruling elicit suspicion about whether or not the Tinubu legal team provided clerical services to the Presidential Election Petition Court. Otherwise, how and when did the Tinubu Presidential legal team creep into a document that was supposed to be the official document of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria? We need to restate that the Tinubu Presidential legal team on the top left-hand corner of all the 798 pages is neither a monochrome nor metadata. It is actually a header, meaning that except for a valid explanation, the Tinubu presidential team is the originator of the document. So this is where they are alleging that it was the Tinubu team that wrote it, unless they are provided better explanation on what happened. Continuing, he said, for the purpose of clarity, a header is a text that is placed at the top of a page, while a footer is placed at the bottom of a page. Typically, these areas are used for inciting information, such as the name of the document, the chapter heading, page numbers, creation dates, and the like. On the other hand, watermark is a faint design made in some paper during manufacture that is visible when held against the light and typically identifies the maker of the document. Continuing, he alleged, I'm quoting him also, the Presidential Election Petition Court must on its honor, if indeed it still has any, clarify why the court chose to put the header of the Tinubu legal team on a certified true copy of its judgment document, while the only emblem that should have been on the document is the stamp of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria. Again, the Presidential Election Petition Court must explain why it came to the discretionary decision of having the respondents have a copy of the judgment earlier in the day on Friday, while only making same available to the petitioners later in the day, and only after the lead counsel to Atiku and PDP had written a second letter. The first was on Thursday to the court demanding for copies of the judgment. Moreover, we have it on good authority that when the Presidential Election Petition Court was informed that the certified true copies of the judgment given to the respondent was already circulating in the public domain with the header of the Tinubu Presidential Legal Team on it, a further delay was necessitated by the need for it to undertake a laundering of the documents by removing the Tinubu Presidential Legal Team header before handing over same to the lawyers of Atiku. Whereas the legal team of the PDP and Atiku have statutory 14 days to prepare its appeal to the Supreme Court, the Presidential Election Petition Court had erased 2 days out of that 14 days. No thanks to the Presidential Election Petition Court, whose chairman, Justice Samani, had promised to make available the certified true copy of the judgment to Atiku a day after his judgment was rendered, which ought to have been on Thursday. Atiku's aide noted that Nigerians and the world are earnestly waiting for answers to these posers as the legal challenge shifts to the Supreme Court. He said if explanations are not given, it will validate suspicion that there were external factors involved in the formulation of the judgment and bring the entire judiciary of Nigeria into disrepute. So, friends, that is what is brewing in Nigeria right now. That is the issue at stake now. The issue of who wrote the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal that was delivered on Wednesday, September 6, 2023. Like I said in this channel, every accused is innocent until proven guilty. So we believe that it is the presidential, that it is the justices of the court that wrote their judgment, because they are innocent until proven guilty. Now, the evidence that Atiku Abubakar has presented is now left for the justices themselves to give an explanation, because these PDP people and Atiku Abubakar, they are demanding an explanation. So Nigerians will be waiting to hear their own side of the story. Already, the APC or Tinubu Presidential Legal Team, they have exonerated the justices, okay, by saying what PDP is alleging is not true. But it is good to hear from the horse's mouth. So maybe before the week runs out, they might issue a statement to clarify whatever doubts that are still out there in public. But the truth remains that this 2023 presidential election was the most anticipated election Nigeria has ever seen. And the way the thing had been handled by the INEC had cast a lot of dark shadow on the whole process. Now, already we know that the judiciary is having a kind of backlash from Nigerians due to past judgments that Nigerians could not fathom. For example, I keep giving this. The idea that how somebody who contested for Senate, for presidential ticket of APC, returned back and contested for Senate. And now he's a senator. Another did the same thing, and now he's the Senate president. So these are issues that people are using to allege that all is not well with Nigerian judiciary. That was why one of the trending hashtags in Nigeria today is all eyes on the judiciary, which some who oppose that claim that it was an indication of blackmailing the judiciary. But that's not how some of us sees it. We see it as a call for the judiciary to do the right thing, no matter whose ox is God. So that is what we are, what is on trending right now. That's an issue that is a burning issue. The issue of suspicion over who wrote the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. This issue was raised by Atiku Abubakar. He is a major stakeholder on what happened on September 6, 2023. And we also saw somebody who is a chieftain of the Labour Party, a lawyer, at the beginning of this video, who also alleges a strenuous intrusion in the whole process. So that is why Nigerians will be waiting to hear from the horse's mouth what the tribunal justices will say about the allegation leveled against them. And for us here in this channel, we believe that anybody that is accused is innocent until proven guilty. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like this video, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.